Join us as we delve into the eerie and captivating world of Junji Ito and analyze the highly anticipated anime adaptation of Junji Ito's Maniac, Japanese Tales of the Macabre. Considered the master of horror in Japan, Junji Ito is a household name among manga enthusiasts, and rightfully so. He's an expert at creating terrifying and disturbing stories that will mess with your mind. The stories are so horrifying and eerie that it will be challenging to look at particular objects the same way. Spirals, anyone? With hundreds of written works, Ito has earned high praise for his unique and unsettling storytelling. Unfortunately, only a few of his works have received anime adaptations, and those that did, like Gyo and Junji Ito Collection, failed to meet fans' expectations. However, with the announcement of Maniac, optimism rose among fans that this adaptation might finally do justice to Ito's iconic tales. In this video, we will delve into Junji Ito's Maniac and highlight the best stories out of the 20 that were adapted. From the menacing layers of fear to the unhinged whispering woman, we'll be analyzing the story, animation, and overall execution. And in the end, we'll pass the final verdict on whether this anime adaptation honors the legacy of the iconic king of horror. Without further ado, let's dive into discussing the best stories in Junji Ito's Maniac. So you better grab your blankets because this will be downright creepy. But we warn you, this will contain spoilers and some horror. The first one that we'll mention is the unsettling whispering woman. The ominous tale centers around Mayumi, a young woman with a mental illness requiring constant instructions on what to do. Her wealthy father hires several caretakers, but none can handle her extreme need for guidance on everything she does. When Mitsu Uchida applies to be Mayumi's caretaker, she proves to be perfect for the job and would whisper instructions constantly. However, Mitsu started showing signs of bruising, and Mayumi's father discovers that Mitsu is in an abusive relationship. Upon this revelation, he chooses not to intervene in her personal life as long as she cares for his daughter. Regrettably, this purposeful lack of action resulted in Mitsu being brutally murdered. Although it concerns her father how Mayumi will continue without Mitsu, Mayumi continues her day-to-day activities as if the whispering woman still guided her. Then soon enough, Mayumi viciously stabs Mitsu's abusive boyfriend to death. Covered in murderous blood and smiling, she confesses to her father about her crime because she was asked to do so. Jeez, that felt creepy. The gradual decline of Mitsu's appearance and the way her voice became whispers created an unsettling atmosphere from a story about caring for someone. The animation accurately captures the uneasy combination of Mayumi's innocence and sickness, and Mitsuki's voice actress, Mie Sonozaki, masterfully captures Mitsu's eerie whispering, so the adaptation brilliantly captures the essence of Junji Ito's manga, leaving a haunting impression on the audience. The following story we'll mention is the disturbing tale of the ice cream bus, a disturbing addiction story that leads to a family's demise. It follows a divorced father, Sonohara, and his son, Tomoki, who settle into a new neighborhood. There they discover a friendly ice cream truck driver who hands out free ice cream and takes the children on a free ride in the ice cream truck. Like any kid, Tomoki joins in on the feast, but every week he becomes increasingly addicted to the ice cream to the point of sheer obsession. Unfortunately, it ends when all the children have turned into ice cream, with Tomoki happily eating them. Shocked at the discovery, Sonohara pulls his son away only for Tomoki's head to fall off as an ice cream scoop would. The horrifying aspect is that this was essentially unpreventable. Name one kid who doesn't want free ice cream? The anime effectively portrays sinister atmosphere throughout the story, with its expressionless driver and ominous kid-friendly music. Overall, Ice Cream Bus is a chilling tale of innocence lost and the dangers of succumbing to temptation. While the 3D ice cream truck doesn't quite capture the manga's 2D creepiness, the pacing still delivers the same shock factor. Next, prepare to be haunted by layers of fear, a spine-chilling tale. The grim story begins when archaeologist Professor Soya uncovers a child's skull and layers of soil in the shape of a human at an ancient burial site. Fascinated by this discovery, he steals the skull, 13 years later, Soya's beautiful daughter, Reimi, is caught in a tragic accident, revealing an unsettling revelation that her body is entirely made up of multiple layers of skin, each representing 1 year of age. Narumi, Reimi's sister, believes it to be a curse due to the similarities to the tomb their father plundered. During this ordeal, Reimi's mother, Miss Soya, increasingly became frustrated with Reimi because of her rebellious behavior and wholeheartedly reminisced about Reimi as Mama's little idol. In a desperate attempt to be reunited with her daughter from the past, Miss Soya rips off layers of her daughter's face, revealing Reimi's 2-year-old face. But to her shock, Reimi's body didn't turn out as expected. Rather than a toddler's body, it was stick-like and didn't look human at all. Deranged and in denial, Miss Soya believes she's also cursed, and that by removing the layers of her body, she can reclaim her youthful self so she can give birth to her precious Reimi. But as she grotesquely rips off her skin, she realizes she isn't affected by the curse and has just ripped off her entire face. The story ends with Miss Soya shutting herself away, ignoring the deformed Reimi's call for attention and leaving Narumi unsure of what to do. Wow, that one was graphic, and the thought of the whole ordeal will leave you frightened thinking about it. And the anime didn't hold back on the obscure details. Just the idea of a human ripping their skin off sends shivers down our spines. Even Miss Soya's obsessive love for her daughter is just the right kind of creepy. The anime perfectly captures the eerie visuals of this acclaimed Junji Ito work and the horrors of the grotesque anatomy of the deformed body. This unsettling tale will leave you disturbed for some time after watching it. Up next, we have the grim and horrifying story, The Hanging Balloons. It stars the unfortunate Kazuko, a high school girl trapped inside her room, tormented by an eerie presence outside her window, mimicking the voice of her deceased friend. The story unravels as we learn the events leading up to this haunting situation, beginning with the suicide of her friend. Then a peculiar phenomenon spread across Japan. Oversized, unsettling balloons with people's faces and nooses attached began appearing nationwide. Their goal? To chase down the humans they represent and hang them. Not only that, destroying them is not an option, as humans will also be affected, much like a voodoo doll. Being the last one remaining, Kazuko, terrified after witnessing the lifeless bodies of her friends and family dangle from the nooses, falls for their trick after hearing her brother's voice, and we end with a rope dangling in front of her. As a fan of Junji Ito's work, seeing this horror story adapted is a thrilling and satisfying experience. The animation faithfully adapts the manga and expands upon it, adding extra layers of suspense and horror that were not present in the original. Everything was spot on, from the unnerving appearance of the balloons to the retrospective narrative style. This adaptation goes beyond the pages of the manga and brings the story to life in a whole new way, making it a must-watch for fans of the horror genre. Next is a short story from one of Junji Ito's most iconic series, Tomie, Photo. It features perhaps one of Ito's most famous heroines, Tomie, a high school girl of immaculate beauty who captures boys with her mysterious allure. But there's much more to her than just a pretty face. Another high schooler and photo club member, Tsukiko, sells photographs of boys for a steep price at school, but her business is ruined after Tomie baits her and gets caught red-handed, leading to her suspension. To exact revenge, Tsukiko distributes pictures of Tomie, revealing a hideous, monstrous face growing out of her head. In response, Tomie sends boys to kill Tsukiko and visits her home with the same intention, but after being called hideous and a monster, Tomie loses control and a grotesque head begins manifesting from her own. She orders her goons to cut her head off, and in doing so, they leave Tomie's headless body behind. Tsukiko witnesses this horror and passes out, only to wake up and discover a new head growing out of Tomie's torso. Unhinged, Tomie laughs, leaving Tsukiko a bloody mess to clean up. Although the animation captures Tomie's bone-chilling nature, the story was rushed to fit into a single episode, disappointing some manga fans, especially considering how critically acclaimed this story is. On the flip side, Tomie's eeriness and alluring beauty are brilliantly captured, and they definitely did not hold back on the gore. That decapitation scene can lead to a few sleepless nights. Never Nevertheless, it can be an enjoyable introduction for new fans unfamiliar with the manga. Following that is the heart-wrenching and tragic tale of Toontown. The story explores a descent into guilt featuring Kaoru and her brother Tsuyoshi, who accidentally runs over a woman on their way to visit Kaoru's friend, Izumi. In their state of panic, they set off a chain of tragic events by hiding the corpse, which was later discovered as the body of Izumi's sister. In addition to their horror, they find out that in Izumi's town, the dead turn into gravestones at the exact spot where they die. But if the body were to be moved, the soul could not rest in peace. In an attempt to conceal their crime, the pair throw the now petrified body into a bottomless well, where the soul would eternally suffer, but at the same time, no body, no crime. However, Tsuyoshi cuts his hand from the body and later becomes a deformity himself from the infection, never to rest in peace, much like his victim. On the other hand, upon the realization that Kaoru was thrown into the well, Izumi's family commits suicide, leaving 3 new gravestones. Yikes, that was another depressing one. The heart-wrenching guilt and the eternal damnation are just horrifying to imagine. While the animation captures the eerie horror of Junji Ito's manga, the 3D CG can be off-putting. While the animation is overall well done, the voice acting could have been better, as the story calls for a more profound emotional impact. The weight of guilt and the unsettling realization of Izumi's family's fate will leave you uneasy. Despite being a short story, Toontown delivers a powerful punch that will leave you haunted for days. After a spine-chilling and twisted journey through the macabre world of Junji Ito, it's time for the final verdict on Maniac. The show is a mixed bag. Some stories like Whispering Woman, Toontown, Hanging Balloons, and Layers of Fear receive excellent adaptations that captures the essence of Ito's horror narrative, some even surpassing the manga. However, the rushed execution of some stories, such as Tomie, Photo, The Bully, Unendurable Labyrinth, and Alley, has disappointed us. While manga fans may have reservations about the adaptation, Maniac provides first-time viewers with a solid introduction to Junji Ito's horror universe. The series offers a chilling blend of captivating stories and terrifying visuals that will linger in viewers' minds long after they finish watching. So, that's our final verdict. Tune in to our next video for more anime releases and topics. Thanks for watching!